So today I'm going to discuss with you about the endocytosis process. In the last class, I have discussed about the exocytosis and your phagocytosis. So let us discuss now about the endocytosis process. So what happened in endocytosis is endocytosis. So in endocytosis, there are small regions of plasma membrane that fold inward or invaginate. That means it forms inside out or folded back on itself until it has formed new intracellular membrane limited vesicles. So if this is your plasma membrane, what happens in the next step? They fold back on itself. If suppose there are some uh, particles, there are some molecules located here and there, it invaginates and the molecules get entrapped within them. Okay, and it forms what? It forms vesicle like structure. So 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 the, these small regions of plasma membrane fold inward or they invaginate until it has formed new intracellular membrane limited vesicles. And in eukaryotes, this type of endocytosis are of two types. One is your pinocytosis and another one is your receptor mediated endocytosis. So two types of endocytosis are there: pinocytosis and receptor mediated endocytosis. The process is same. One, with the help of receptor, clathrin coated vesicles are formed that invaginates the cell inwards and allows the molecules to enter into it and forms that vesicles. And another one is called pinocytosis, which is actually a type of cell drinking like mechanism. So let's discuss about the first one, that is your pinocytosis. So what happens in pinocytosis? This pinocytosis comes from the Greek word called pinin, P-I-N-E-I-N, penin. Penin means to drink and it means to cell drinking. So it is a non-specific uptake process of small droplets of extracellular fluid. So here in pinocytosis, only the extracellular fluid, extracellular fluids are uptaken by the cell. Okay, and it is a non-specific pathway. Okay, just like we have seen in passive transport, they allow non-specifically. In pinocytosis, it is a non-specific process where they are allowing the uptake of small droplets of in extracellular fluid, that is the fluid found outside the cell, it is coming inside, and it is done by some vesicles called endocytic vesicles, also known as pinosomes. So with the help of pinosomes, with the help of endocytic vesicles, they are uptaking the fluid, okay, that extracellular fluid that is found outside. Now the pinosomes or these vesicles have a very small diameter. The length of the pinosomes are very small, about 0.1 micrometer to zero point 0.2 micrometer in length. The diameter is zero point 0.1 to zero point 0.2 micrometer only. And any material dissolved in the extracellular fluid is then internalized in proportion to its concentration of the fluid. Okay. So in pinocytosis, as I have said, that it is a non-specific pathway where they uptake small droplets of extracellular fluid with the help of small vesicles known as pinosomes, The diameter of pinosomes is very, very small, about zero point 0.1 to zero point 0.2 micrometer in length. Okay. Now, this process of pinocytosis was first explained by and observed by Edward in amoeba. Okay. And also it was observed by Lewis in 1931. Lewis also discovered this process and found out this process, that the cell drinking process called pinocytosis, and Lewis have found it in cultured cells. Okay, the cells are cultured within the laboratory and they have found this mechanism. Okay, now what your Edward have found in amoeba, what does Edward have observed is that within the amoeba, within the amoeba, there are tiny, tiny pinocytic channels. There are tiny, tiny pinocytic channels that are continually being formed at the cell surface by invagination of the plasma membrane. So there are small, small pinocytic channels that are continuously getting invaginate within their cell wall, and the molecules are getting inserted into that vesicles. Okay, it's too much small, so I cannot able to draw that. So there are small, small pinocytic channels found in the amoeba, which continually being formed at the cell surface by invagination. That means they fold onto itself inward. From the inner end of each channel, there are small vacuoles or pinosomes that are pinched off from the cell, and there's these channels, these vesicles, which are called as pinosomes, they move towards the center of the cell, where just like phagocytosis, they will fuse with the lysosomes to form phagolysosomes, and they form food vacuoles. Ultimately, the ingested contents, that means the particles which are ingested with the help of with the help of pinosomes vessels, they are digested by the enzymes present on that lysosomes, the hydrolytic enzymes present on the lysosomes, and small breakdown of products like sugars, amino acids, they get diffused to the cytosol. So simple thing. So there are small, small pinocytic channels found on the cell surface of the amoeba, and what happen in the next step? They fold, they invaginate. Okay, they invaginate, they invaginate, they invaginate, and within that invaginate site, the small droplets get trapped into it. Small droplets get trapped into it. The small liquid droplets are trapped into it, and what happens in the next step is they invaginate and fold the and form the vesicles with having that small droplets. Okay, further, these these vesicles called pinosomes, further this channel called as pinosomes, they move inside, where they fuse with the lysosome, where they fuse with the lysosome, and the lysosome, what they do, they, with the help of their hydrolytic enzymes, they degrade that, they digest that that small droplets of extracellular fluid, and ultimately the contents which are digested, they break down the products, and they are getting diffused out throughout the cytoplasm. Like there may be amino acids, there may be sugars. Okay, if that ingested particles fluid contain carbohydrates, then there will be broken down into sugars. If the ingested content is sugar, then they are broken down into carbohydrates. If there is protein within that extracellular fluid, then that protein will be broken down to form amino acids, and ultimately the ingested contents are digested and small breakdown products like sugar, amino acid are all diffuse out throughout the cytoplasm. Okay. The next thing that I will discuss with you is your receptor mediated endocytosis. Receptor mediated endocytosis. So this is also a type of endocytosis. Here also vesicle will form, but with the help of certain receptors. So in this type of endocytosis is also called as clathrin dependent endocytosis. Clathrin, clathrin, clathrin dependent endocytosis. It is also called as clathrin dependent endocytosis. Why? Because here clathrin protein is involved. Clathrin is a protein that plays a major role in the formation of coated vesicles. Okay, clathrin is a type of protein which plays a major role in the formation of coated vesicles, and it is a triskelion in structure, just like this. If I show you, just like this, it is triskelion in structure, having made up of two different type of chains, heavy chains and light chains. Okay, these are the long one are the heavy chains, and the long one are the heavy chains, and the short one are the light chains. Okay, the green one are the light chains. So it is a triskelion in structure, and it is composed of three heavy chains and three light chains. So these are the three heavy chains. This one, this one, this one are the heavy chain, and these are the light chains. Okay, these are the light chains. One, two, three light chains. And these heavy chains and light chains are actually obviously they are formed by certain genes. If I go for molecular concept, uh, the gene responsible for the heavy chain formation of clathrin is located on chromosome number 17. Okay, so the chromosome number 17 contain that gene which codes for that heavy chain, and for the light chain, it is also encoded by a gene. That gene is located on chromosome number 22. Okay, so here we can see that, well, this protein is highly complicated, and these clathrin protein are found in the surface of your plasma membrane. And in this type of endocytosis there are specific receptors. Okay, that receptors are made up of the clathrin. Okay, on the surface of the plasma membrane, that receptor will recognize what it will recognize. It will recognize an extracellular uh, macromolecule, and it will bind with that macromolecule. So the receptor recognize that macromolecule which is coming from outside. Okay, and it will bind with it. Now the substance which bound with the receptor is called ligand. Always remember, when you will say ligand, ligand means those substance which is binding to the receptor. Suppose these are the receptors, and suppose this is your macromolecule that is coming from outside. They have some specific surface, some specific regions known as ligand. Okay, so with the help of ligand the receptor binds. Okay. Okay, now the ligands can be virus. It may include viruses, it may include small proteins like insulin, then immunoglobulin, which are called as antibodies. Okay, it may be vitamin B12, okay, cholesterol, containing LDL or low density lipoprotein. Now this is a very dangerous lipoprotein. Okay, this LDL is a very dangerous lipoprotein because it is also called as bad cholesterol, because high level of LDL, if present in our body, it leads to plaque formation. It leads to plaque formation in our heart. Okay, in the coronary artery of our heart. So normally LDL is not good for our health. Okay, so LDL can also be recognized as a ligand which can enter to the cell, okay, by the process of receptor mediated endocytosis. Okay, now the whole process of endocytosis can be the whole process of receptor mediated endocytosis can be said by this following way. So let us discuss the first way. The first way is your interaction of the ligand and the cell surface receptors. So the first important step is interaction. The first important step is interaction. How the cells receptor will interact with the ligand. The ligand that we have just talked about it. Like, now what is ligand? The substance which bound to the receptor is called ligand. Okay, now like it may be virus, it may be small proteins like insulin, vitellogenin, then immunoglobulin, also called as antibodies, transferrin, vitamin B12, cholesterol containing LDL, that is low density lipoprotein, some oligosaccharides that you are studying now. Oligosaccharides are the carbohydrates, long chain carbohydrates. Okay, so they can be acting as ligand. The first most important thing is we have to attach ligand with the receptor. So the macromolecules which are the ligand, they bind to the complementary cell surface receptors, and within the cell there are about 25 different types of receptors. Okay, there are 25 different types of receptors which are found within the cell, and these all receptors carry out the receptor mediated endocytosis. They all carry out the receptor mediated endocytosis. Okay, they all carry out the receptor mediated endocytosis of different molecules. That means this receptor mediated endocytosis is specific. The pinocytosis was not specific because I have said, but in receptor mediated endocytosis it is specific because there are 25 different types of receptors which are involved in this process, and each of these receptors are specific for particular ligand. Okay, such a receptor is a transmembrane protein. The receptor which is found within the cell, they are all what? They are all, sorry for that, they are all transmembrane protein. They are all transmembrane protein. Okay, now what is transmembrane protein? The protein which is found outside the plasma membrane as well as on the internal side, the hydrophobic regions of the plasma membrane, that is called as transmembrane protein. Like the protein channels, like the carrier proteins are all transmembrane proteins. So these receptors are also that are found for that are important for receptor mediated endocytosis are transmembrane protein. And and these receptors have two important regions through which interaction of the ligand occurs. Okay, so the receptors which are found within the plasma membrane, which carry out the receptor mediated endocytosis, it has two important regions. Okay, the first region is the ligand binding site. The first region is the ligand binding site, ligand binding site, where it binds properly with the ligand molecule at the, and this ligand binding site is located outside, that is on the external surface of the plasma membrane. And the second important region of the receptor is your coated pit binding site. Coated pit binding site. Now, what is coated pit binding site? So, I think I have able to understood them. Still, I am repeating the receptors. There are 25 different types of receptors which are found in the plasma membrane that carries out the receptor mediated endocytosis, and each of these 25 different types of receptors are specific for a particular ligand. Now, receptors have two important regions through which it interacts with the ligand. First is receptor has a ligand binding site which is found on the outside surface where it interacts with the ligand, and it has a coated pit binding site which are located at the inner side on the cytosolic side of the plasma membrane. So receptors are transmembrane proteins actually. Receptors are transmembrane protein that are found on the extracellular surface as well as they are found on the cytosolic surface of the plasma membrane. Now, what is coated pit actually? Coated pit are the sites of plasma membrane which are on the inner side where bristle-like structure called clathrin, which is a type of protein, triskelion protein, is observed. Okay, so coated pits are the site of plasma membrane, the inner side of plasma membrane where bristle-like structure, bristle means just like a brush-like structure called clathrin, is observed on the plasma membrane. Now, the coated pit are the entry route for the macromolecules. So, these coated pits are the entry route for the macromolecules bound by the cell surface receptors, and the pits further internalized into the cytoplasm to form coated vesicles. So again I repeat, coated pits are what? Coated pits are the site on the plasma membrane that are located on the cytosolic surface where bristle-like structure called clathrin, which is a triskelion protein, are observed. And as I have said, clathrin is a triskelion protein. It is made up of heavy chain and light chain, 3 heavy chains and 3 light chains. Okay, these coated pits are the entry route for the macromolecules bound by the cell surface receptors. And the pits are further internalized by the cell, just like in pinocytosis. I have said the coated pits are further internalized in the cytoplasm to form coated vesicles. Okay, so what happens in the next step? In the second step, the ligand loaded receptors diffuse into these coated pits, right? The ligand coated loaded receptors diffuse into these coated pits. Now, there are about 1000 receptors found within that coated pit. If I show you the diagram of coated pit here, I am not showing you the diagram here. Okay, so you can see the coated pit here. Okay, I have to move above a little bit. Okay, so you can see the coated pit here. So within that coated pits, so coated pits are what actually? They are the depression region. Okay, they are the depression region, okay, of the plasma membrane, and they have a bristle-like structure, and that is made up of clathrin protein that you know. And there are about 1000 receptors found within that coated pit. Within that depression region, there are about 1000 different types of receptors which are found. Sorry for that, there are 1000 receptors. Actually, there are 25 different types of receptors, more than 25 different types of receptors. But in each coated pit, there are 1000 receptors, okay, in assorted in variety. And the ligand loaded receptors diffuse through these coated pits. The ligand which attach with the receptor, here you can see the LDL has been attached as it has been mentioned here, LDL binding site, it attach with this receptor and they are getting internalized into these coated pits. The lifetime of this coated pit is very short also, within a minute or so being formed, and it then invaginates into the cell. That means it fold on to itself and it pinches off into the cytosol and form coated vesicles, just like this. Just like this, they form coated vesicles. Okay, so I think you have understood. So what happened, again I'm repeating little bit. So these coated pits then invaginate, they invaginate into the cell and pinches off and form this type of coated vesicles. Now these coated vesicles made up of protein called clathrin, as I have already mentioned with you. And not only clathrin, other proteins are also involved to form these coated vesicles. Okay. So this clathrin is a triskelion in structure, and within this vesicle a number of triskelion structure assemble into basket-like network of hexagons and pentagons on the cytoplasmic surface of the plasma membrane. Okay, understood? So these clathrin, many clathrin molecules which are triskelion in structure, they assemble into a basket-like network, just like a hexagon structure or pentagon structure. I will show you the diagram in my notes. I will send you through the WhatsApp group the notes as I have given yesterday also. Today I will give you how the clathrin they form that basket-like network and form hexagon pentagon-like structure. Then the next step is same thing that we know, fusion of the endocytic vesicle and endosome. So once the coated vesicle is formed, the clathrin and its associated proteins, they dissociate from the vesicle membrane and they return to the plasma membrane to form a new coated pit. So you can see here what happened actually, in this third step. Once the coated vesicle is formed, the clathrin and its associate protein, they get dissociated. Okay, they get dissociated and again they return to the plasma membrane. The clathrin and its associated protein, they get dissociated from that vesicle and they return to the plasma membrane to form a new coated pit. Further, that vesicle now fuse with the pre-existing endosomes, and finally the contents which are present within that vesicles are further utilized by the cell by your lysosome. Okay, understood? Okay, so this is the way that how receptor mediated endocytosis works. So they are, what they are doing, they are conveying the vesicles to come inside, they are conveying the macromolecules to come inside to form vesicles, and when the work is over, the clathrin and its associated protein again disassemble from the vesicles and they return to the plasma membrane to form a new coated pit, while the vesicle further fuse with the endosome, further fuse with the pre-existing endosomes, which is a membrane bound compartment inside the eukaryotes that originates from the trans Golgi membrane. Endosomes are the vesicles which are found inside the eukaryotes and originates from trans Golgi membrane. Okay. Okay. So in this way, so through the help of receptor mediated endocytosis coated vesicles, the ligands are which are located on the outside the plasma membrane, they are getting delivered into the endosomes and they slowly move inward to fuse with the lysosomes and then what happened, you know, it will digest the proteins which are found inside the cell. Okay, if it is a virus, then they will try to degrade them because it is a foreign particle, right? So this was all about your endocytosis process. Okay, now there is an example given on endocytosis. For general for general endocytosis structure, you have to go through this page, figure 5.19. Okay, and the example of receptor mediated endocytosis has been given right here. Let us see. Then I will end up my lecture today. So the example for receptor mediated endocytosis, well, most animal cells are found to have a regulatory pathway for uptake of cholesterol, and most cholesterol are transported in the blood in the form of particles called low density lipoprotein. Well, low density lipoprotein, as I have said, they are called as bad cholesterol because a high level of LDL, if present in the blood, can accumulate within the blood vessels and leads to the formation of plaque, PLAQUE. Okay, that causes blockage in the artery. And suppose if that blockage occur in your coronary artery of your heart, then you might get a heart attack. So most of the cholesterol is transported within the blood in the form of low density lipoprotein, and each of these large spherical particles have a core of about 1500 cholesterol ester molecules. So it has to be eliminated out, right? So when a cell needs cholesterol for membrane synthesis, it synthesizes receptor which is specific for that LDL particles. So suppose a cell needs LDL. When a cell needs cholesterol for making their plasma membrane components, because cholesterol is also a component of the plasma membrane, as we have seen before. So it will synthesize receptor proteins which is specific for the interaction with the LDL particles and insert that LDL into the plasma membrane. Okay. Now human LDL receptor is a single transmembrane glycoprotein. That means it is made up of this protein is attached with carbohydrates, and it is a single transmembrane protein. That means it has one time crossed the plasma membrane, so it is single. If I say multiple, that means it multiple times it has crossed the plasma membrane. But your the receptor found within the for the specific for the receptor for specific for the LDL, this receptor is a single transmembrane protein, and it is a glycoprotein where carbohydrate molecules has been attached with it. Okay, now the LDL binding site of the receptor is exposed to the cell surface, as I have said. So if this is the portion, if this is the extracellular surface where the LDL protein, okay, I am writing in different color. So this LDL protein comes and bind. It will bind to this receptor. Okay, it is found on the outside the cell. It is found on the extracellular surface. Okay, and these LDL receptors move laterally. This LDL receptor move laterally in this way. So the receptors move laterally, or that is, it moves sideways within the lipid bilayer until they associated to form newly coated pits. So what happened in this case? A strange thing happens if I say these LDL receptors that I have talked with you. Okay, the site where the ligand LDL will bind, it is located outside, and this receptor can move sideways, that means laterally, until it identifies a coated pit. Okay, and are rapidly then get internalized. So the LDL binds, the ligand binds with the receptor, they move laterally now, the receptor move laterally until they found the coated pit, and then they get internalized within the cell. If you see this diagram, you can able to understand. So this is the receptor, a single transmembrane protein where there is LDL binding site. So LDL binds, and we see that this receptor have moved this way. They diffuse laterally, they move laterally, sideway movement, until they found the coated pit made up of clathrin protein, and then the receptor with the LDL, which is the ligand, are getting internalized within the cell. Okay, then they are getting internalized within the cell, and after the coated pits are rapidly internalized, then the clathrin coats, after the formation of vesicles, then the clathrin will get again dissociated and will again return to the plasma membrane to form a new coated pit. Okay, so in this way the LDL is getting internalized within the cell. Okay, so up to this much I have done my lecture. Just go through this process, there's more bit written here. Go through this process, and I hope you have understood this part. So if you have any doubts regarding this chapter, you can ask in the WhatsApp group. Okay.